Welcome to Planet Capable. Join Mike, Alex, Lee, and Gwen, along with a myriad of special guests, as we discuss topics and issues of importance to the disabled community worldwide.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Outside the Box and Planet Capable. I am Alex Chesko.
And I'm Mike Rogers.
Hi, everyone. This is Lee Hartley.
And tonight we have a bit of an interesting topic. Tonight we want to provide advice to able-bodied people, disabled people. We want to give them the ability to basically provide advice in regards to the knowledge that everybody who is able-bodied will eventually become disabled. It's unavoidable. We all will get old eventually. Things will start breaking down. You'll start getting frustrated with yourself, and that's just the way of life. We all become a person with a disability eventually. And with that, I thought it'd be a really interesting topic to give you guys some advice in regards to what it is to be a person with a disability and how to deal with being a person with a disability. So in that vein of things, I thought the three of us would provide that knowledge to you, provide that advice to you. So I will go first. I would say number one, the first and foremost thing that everybody should know about once you become a person with a disability is to learn how to be patient. Be patient with where you are at with your current position or current circumstance, whatever it may be. Learn to be patient, because if you're impatient, chances are you could end up doing a variety of things. Number one, you could end up hurting yourself, or you could end up hurting others, either physically, mentally, emotionally, otherwise. You learning to be patient is a super, super valuable skill. And it comes in handy, especially when you're dealing with a disability where your body doesn't listen to you, or you want to accomplish something in a way that you may not be able to anymore. Understand that there are ways to go about doing things that may not be the way you're used to, but at the same time, there are ways by which you can get them done in, in a way that is still makes you feel empowered, I think is my point. um you know I mean, I just think about, like, when I cook, when I clean, when I do all these things that the able-bodied world does. I don't do them in the same way you guys do. Um I don't move as fast as able-bodied people. That said, I wouldn't want to change what I do for the world, because frankly, it feels good to do something for yourself, to do something by yourself, for yourself, in that capacity. So, and the only way that I learned how to do that for myself was by being patient. So learning to be patient is my first and biggest piece of advice. Mike, what about you? What's your piece of
Well, I
advice?
just wanted to comment on something you said. You said when you're talking about patience, um, you said that, you know, sometimes you'll do things a little bit differently than other people,
Mm-hmm.
and I think when you talk about doing things a little bit differently, I think um, one of the things is that comes to my mind is you're not comparing yourself and what you do as bad different. It's just
Right.
different, right?
Correct.
Because I think a lot of times, there are comparisons made to the able-bodied world all the time. Well, that's not how it's quote unquote normally done. So,
Right.
why don't you just try to do it the normal way? Well, when you have a
What
disability, you may not be able to do that. So the new things become your new normal, right?
right, and what is normal, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah.
assessing that, you know, because my normal is different than your normal, and our normal is different than Lee's normal, and Lee's normal is different than our normal. It's everybody's normal is different. So
Yeah,
if everybody's normal is different, how is normal normal?
yeah, and one of the things with that is, even with not having a disability, for the people without disabilities out there listening, think about some things you do that the person that is around you doesn't do, and they may do something different. Like,
Mhm.
for example, somebody might drink black coffee versus um, adding coffee to their creamer. So,
Right,
I mean, that's just a simple example. None of us are all the same, and you know, so I think the idea of normal in these situations is something you have to grapple with, because what's your new normal, and why would that be bad?
right, exactly. You know, and then also, I would say it's a bit of a blessing as a person with a disability because you learn very quickly that um there really are no there are no set boundaries in regards to what is normal and what is not. Everybody is weird in their own little way. And if you watch very carefully, you see that everybody is unique in their own little way. It's not just people with disabilities or able-bodied people. Everybody is unique and different in their own way and do things they might be similar, but they're still different, you know. The example I like to use for that is walking specifically. Everybody walks a little differently. You know, some people walk faster, some people walk slower, some people walk with a little bit of a limp, some people walk, with their arms flailing out, and they do all these things, but everybody walks a little differently. I don't know if you ever noticed this, Mike, but it's something I notice when I people watch. But everybody walks a little differently, even among able-bodied people. They all say they're walking the
Sure,
same way, but in
sure.
truth, they're all walking differently.
No, because their body moves in different ways. It's not just about the arms and the legs.
Exactly. Exactly. So I just find that kind of amazing and fascinating. Um, the other thing I would say too, to to everybody, is get I would say get used to trying new things, to trying new approaches to different problems. One thing I can definitely say among my friends who are people with disabilities is that we're brilliant problem solvers. We can problem solve our way out of anything, really, for the most part. Um, and one of the reasons why is because we're basically trained, either by therapists or by our own life experience, to problem solve our way out of situations, and to make things more doable for us. Um, and so if you have the heart and the mind to problem solve, that really, really benefits you. And the only way you really get good at problem solving is by practicing the art of problem solving. Um, so the more and more you get into that practice, the better and better off you'll be. So if you don't know how to do something, or like let's say you end up hypothetically in like a horrible car accident and you can't use your legs anymore. Okay, well, how do I get up and go to the bathroom now? What is my way of doing that? You know, for a while you might end up, using one of those, hospital urinal things, but eventually that may not be your thing. You may not enjoy that. So what are your alternatives? You know, well, I know I can use my arms, so maybe I can use crutches to, move my body to the bathroom. Or, maybe if I really, really need to, I can somehow manage to army crawl across the floor to the bathroom itself. I'm spitballing ideas here, but like these are this is my problem solving brain in action. Like that's what I do. Um, you know, there are a million ways to do things, and as most people say, you know, innovation is the motivation to mankind. So using your disability, use your creative brain to figure out how to do things in a different way. It might be frustrating, you might not always get it right, it may fall apart, but if it works for you, then it works for you, and that's the whole goal. So something to keep in mind. Mike, do you have anything to add to what I just said, or if you want to add something
Yeah, I want
different?
to add to what you just said, and then I can start with mine,
Sure.
my ideas. Um, what you're talking about, for the most part, at the end there was adapting, and
Yeah.
and and I think that is something that we have learned as people with disabilities all our lives, because we
Yep.
had to adapt to an able-bodied world, right?
Yep.
So we have to adapt. Maybe, I've been in situations and people go, "Weren't you afraid?" And I'm like, "No, I have to adapt to all situations all the time." There was some concern, but there were no. I wasn't afraid because
Right.
I have to adapt to things not going the way we would think all the time, literally every day sometimes, right?
Exactly. Yep.
So I think, you know, the idea of adapting instead of saying, "Oh well, I can't do it the way I used to," you know, um, that's gonna come. But saying you can do it this way now is something empowering, because you know that you can do things different ways.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Um, and having the ability to say, yes, I'm going to try that, versus just being like, no, I'm not going to do that, I'm just going to sit here and do nothing about my circumstance, doesn't do anything for your life. So
Yeah,
giving yourself the ability to at least try is better
yeah,
than not. So if anything
yeah,
else, if you're going to minimize my advice down to one thing, I would say try, at least try.
yeah.
So um yeah. So
Well, one of my things that I think people need to do at the very beginning, and you know, at the beginning, it might be shocking for somebody who hasn't been disabled all their lives. So I'm not saying this happens immediately, but begin to believe that disability is not bad. So many people throughout their lives just focus on the challenges and focus on the fact that they have something. Like,
mhm.
my diagnosis is CP, but I don't consider that a disease. Well, first of all, it's not a disease, but disability is not bad. And once we realize that, you know, it's been said that there's been disabled people in all cultures, all over the place, all time.
Yep.
So we're not new. What's new about it is people have to learn to accept. And I think one of the things is saying that, it's not a bad thing, it's not a disease, it's not an unfortunate thing. It's something to be proud of who you are.
Hmm.
Yes, there's the challenges, but if you're proud of who you are, those challenges take some other meaning, right? Right.
Absolutely.
So I think that's one of the hardest things to do. I'm not going to sit here and say I do it the best all the time either, but I
Yep.
think, especially for a newly disabled person, to eventually get to that point where saying, "Hey, this isn't bad." It might be a pain sometimes, but it's not bad, and you learn from the situations you're in. There's a reason, for the season, and that
Mhm.
season can be your new season of disability.
Right.
So,
Absolutely.
that's one of the first things. Do you want to comment on that at all, Alex?
I know. I think what you said is great. I agree. I think the more that we, sorry, Lee, did you want to say something?
I was thrust into my disability. I felt I'd rather be dead.
Mm. Yeah, I can sympathize with that. Not
Yeah,
well, yeah, sympathize. I sympathize actually and empathize too, both. I've I've been on both ends of that. for
Yeah,
sure.
and I think that's why when I talked about it's not going to happen right away. It's not you're not going to be, and it may be a lifelong thing. In the last breath you take, you go, I liked my disability or I learned from it. um it's not something that just happens. You're not going to love all aspects of things. I don't wake up with a disability rose in my cap every time I go somewhere. No,
Yeah,
that's not what I mean, right?
right. Yeah, and to be entirely clear, we're not sitting here saying that, having a disability is a bed of roses. It's definitely not. There are times when having a disability absolutely sucks. You know, the amount of discrimination, the amount of words, I can't even say words, ostracization. Um,
Austria.
you got it, you got it.
Yeah.
But uh also the amount of self-criticism we have as people with disabilities, the amount of I know the amount of self-hatred I had to go through in order to come out the other side, and I still deal with it from time to time. It was pretty strong. So, having a disability is not easy. That's for sure. But also sitting there and beating yourself up about it or and being mad at the world because you have a disability doesn't solve anything. It really, really doesn't. um you can make changes and you know be more a part of the world by embracing your disability than if you ever just sat there and were just like, I'm miserable because I'm a person with a disability. Okay, but like life goes on. Like, I'm not trying to be glib about it, but it's just, you know disability is disability. You either accept it or you reject it. And if you reject it, you're going to have a lot harder time. Just speaking from personal experience. So, so, um, but also, Mike, to your point, I would also say too, one of the best things you can do, as a person with a disability is remember that you're not as strange as you may have thought yourself to be when you become a person with a disability. Everybody is strange in their own way. Everybody does things a little differently. Everybody is in their own way, their own unique being on this planet. And by virtue of that, no one is strange because everybody is a little different. So, um, but yeah, uh, so I that's I had one other point. I can't remember what it was. I don't know. Mike, do you have anything you want to add?
Yeah, I wanted to also say one of the things I think hold a lot of people with disabilities back is when people get advice from like family or friends, and that's good to get advice from anybody. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but oftentimes people will discourage people from taking advantage of opportunities or working or
Yeah.
those kind of things. And my advice is when an opportunity comes up, no matter how small, it might not be the job you want. It might be like I was at one point an AmeriCorps member, but after being an AmeriCorps member, I was able to get a job with the organization I was at. Now,
Mhm.
some people might say, well, you don't get paid that much in, AmeriCorps, which is the Peace Corps, but you serve at places um, within the United States. So I was an AmeriCorps member for the Self Advocacy Association of New York State and the self advocacy movement. I never thought I was going to even be in self advocacy anything. And I ended up working there for a number of years, right?
Right.
So
Absolutely.
yeah, and I'm still working there in my day job right now. Um,
Yeah.
and I have a good resume because I've taken advantage of working at different places, being on boards and committees, you know, um, doing those little things to get to where you want to be.
Absolutely. 100%. And you got to work to get there. It's not just going to fall into your lap. You got to put yourself out there. You got to show the world that you know, that you're willing to accept, what the work is, number one. And also, are you willing to give yourself the ability to say, yes, I'm willing to try that at the very least. Also, to add to that point of trying as well, um, as people with disabilities, it can be rather easy to come by people that want to help you. And don't get me wrong, I love the people that help me. So, it's great. They're wonderful. Um, However, I will say that one of the best things I think I've ever done for myself is give myself the ability to say no, I can do that for myself because I know I can. It's one thing if you absolutely can't do something. But it's another if you know you can do something and you're making somebody else do it for you.
Yeah,
You're not really living your life if
yeah.
you're letting
I
other
agree.
people do what you know. So anyway,
Yeah, I agree with that. I think sometimes it can go to both extremes. People don't accept help because they want to think that they can do it all because they don't want to admit their challenges. And then there are those that don't do anything at all and expect everybody to help them. And you need to kind of be in the middle. If you can do it, do it. But like for me,
exactly.
if something it takes an hour and a half. If I have time to do it, I'll do it. But if I don't have time to do it, I'll ask for help so that other person can do it in 5 minutes, and that fixes the time issue at that moment.
A
So I
hundred
think
percent.
it's kind of fluid, but
Mm-hmm. Lee, do you have anything you want to add to this, or anything you want to add separately to what we're saying?
Yes.
Cool. Also, Mike, what's coming up for Outside the Box this week?
um, oh yes. So on the 6th of June, from about 10 to 12, maybe a little longer. But it's from 10 to 12. We're doing a fishing event at Delaware Park Hoyt Lake. We're doing a fly fishing, um, can't think of the word,
Accessibility fly fishing
accessibility of fly fishing um,
event.
event. Yes. No,
Mhm.
I'm trying to think of we're doing a fishing like exhibition or training. I can't think of the right word right now,
Okay, no,
but
that's
it's
cool.
but it's training so that um, if you need help learning how to fly fish, there'll be people there to instruct you.
Hmm.
And if you want to do just traditional fishing, now it's catch and release. We don't keep the fish, right? So, um, and it's free, so
Yep.
anybody can go. Able-bodied people with disabilities. We hold our Muddy Wheels events so that people have the opportunity to interact and get to know each other, and to do what we're talking about tonight, right?
Yep.
So, we encourage people to come to that.
Yep. Also on Saturday, June 13th, we're doing a walk at Rhinestone Woods at noon. So come out and join us for that. Everybody's welcome, able-bodied people, people with disabilities. We'd love to have you. The trails are very, very accessible. They're lovely. It's a great time. And it's really cool to get everybody out there and walk the trails with us. So feel free to join us for that too.
Alright.
Go ahead, Lee.
Feel now, after being disabled for 35 of my 55 years on Earth, life is worth living.
Awesome. Love to hear that. That's great. Awesome.
Yeah, I like that you said that, Lee, because life isn't over if you get a disability. Am I saying that you're gonna love it right away? Am I saying that you wouldn't be, very afraid? I mean, I don't. It's being a lifelong disabled person. I don't even know what goes through the mind of somebody, you know, that has lived most of their life without a disability and then gets a disability. I can't say,
Right.
but I think you're still alive. You can make the best of what you got.
Absolutely. Absolutely awesome. Well, this has been great, guys. I think this has been fantastic. The words have been great. The words of advice have been fantastic. Also, people with disabilities, please start going for walks. Please start like getting out there and
Yes,
doing things.
yeah, be out in the community.
Yeah, because
Do life.
I mean, I'm not gonna say that like I'm the only disabled person in my area that is out there because I know I'm not. But like it's funny because I often feel like I'm the only physically disabled person who actually goes out for walks. So like, it'd be nice to actually see other people with disabilities out there going for walks from time to time.
Yeah, and walks don't mean that you got to be physically walking. You could be rolling too. But
Exactly.
oftentimes we just call them walks because that's
Exactly.
what they are.
Yeah, you're still going outside. That's the important part.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So yeah, and that's important. That's
Yeah.
needed to be active in life. Don't
Yes.
just sit there being sad. What is that going to do? Who is that going to help? It's certainly not going to help you.
Nope. Absolutely not. Do you have any fun plans for the summer, Mike? Anything good?
I don't know what I'm gonna do. I haven't decided yet. Maybe a trip, but I haven't decided when I'm gonna book that and stuff like that.
Cool. Do you know where you're
I,
going?
Not yet, not yet. I
Okay.
have a few ideas of what me and a couple of people might want to do, but we haven't decided quite yet.
Okay, cool. That's awesome. I'm glad you're thinking about it. That's cool.
Orlando, Florida, is something that has been brought up. So,
Nice.
Oh,
It's very flat there from as I understand it.
and you know something interesting about that, and don't quote me on this because I am not a historian about it, but Disney World is around there, and you know, I noticed that there weren't a lot of bees or different bugs, and I know um, Walt Disney worked to try to um, limit bugs being around his original parks and stuff, according to what I read.
Except for
And
Jiminy Cricket, obviously.
yeah, 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 obviously. But I thought that was interesting. I didn't see a lot down there. There could be other reasons as well, but that popped into my mind.
That's cool. Go ahead, Lee.
You're lucky. Your disabilities will come to you gradually.
Yeah. Yeah. For most
Ah,
for most able-bodied people, their disabilities come to them gradually. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I know for you when because our friend Lee here wasn't always disabled. He became disabled a little bit later in his childhood. Um, but I know what you're talking about, Lee. You know, people will eventually be able to just grow into their disability, hopefully,
Hmm.
and that'll give you a time to think about it and what you want to be and what you want to do. Yeah,
Yep.
that is a gift sometimes, I think.
All right. Well, um, Lee, do you have anything more you want to add?
Want to go to yes.
Want to go to want to go to yes? Explain,
Huh?
please.
Want to go to the Canadian Ballet.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
That's a cool trip.
that's interesting.
That would be cool. I've never thought about that, but that seems like a fun trip. I'd be down.
Yeah, I haven't thought about that either.
That's neat. Um, well, I hope you're able to get that. I hope you're able to do that, Lee, this summer. That'd be kind of cool.
no,
No?
no.
Oh, you too. Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. Well, guys, this has been awesome. I'm gonna let you guys go. You guys have a wonderful evening. For those of you listening, please, 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 feel free to share our podcast. subscribe, follow us on all our platforms. We're out there. We do exist. So, join us outside the box, and Planet Capable. Have a great
Bye,
night.
everybody.
Bye.